Found an empty emergency contraceptive packet in our garbage, but I had a vasectomy years ago. When I confronted my wife, she accused me of not trusting her and asked me to never bring this up again or she's done. But our marriage is over now. Throw away because this is personal, and I don't want anyone I know finding out. My wife and I met a few years ago. We hit it off almost immediately. From our very first dates, it was clear we were incredibly compatible, same sense of humor, same interests, and most importantly, the same stance on having kids. We didn't want them. Ever. By our third date, I decided to be upfront about my vasectomy. It caught her off guard at first because she was shocked that a young guy would get one, but after that, she told me that she was on the same page. Then after dating for a while, we eventually decided to settle down. We had a big wedding, bought a house, and our relationship only got better. 4 nights ago, I was taking out the trash after a late-night cleaning spree when I noticed something odd. At the top of the kitchen garbage was an emergency contraceptive packet empty. A few things to note here. 1. My wife and I hadn't been physically intimate in about a week. She said she was on her period, which made sense at the time. 2. I also remember thinking it was weird because her last period ended only a couple of weeks ago. I asked her about it, and she told me it's just lady stuff and it happens sometimes. 3. I had a vasectomy nearly a decade ago. So why the hell was there an emergency contraceptive packet in our trash? My first thought was that something terrible might have happened to her, assault or something equally horrifying. My second thought was that maybe she was covering for a friend. And then, the third thought. The one I didn't want to have but couldn't ignore. What if she cheated? What if the period was an excuse, and the emergency contraceptive was hers? For the past 4 days, I've been spiraling internally. I haven't confronted her yet because I don't know how. She's always been vocal about her disgust for infidelity, and we've both agreed that it's a hard deal breaker in our marriage. I've tried to think of every possible explanation for that packet, but none of them feel good. I've never had to deal with something like this before, and I don't know how to approach it without accusing her of something awful. Any advice would be appreciated. Update. Sorry for not posting sooner. My life has been a bit of a mess, like a car that broke down, rolled down a hill, and landed in a ditch. Thanks to everyone who commented on my last post, whether you gave advice or were just here for the drama, I appreciate it. Now, here's what's happened since then. After reading your advice, I decided I needed to talk to my wife about the EC packet. I thought about all the possible explanations. My greatest hope was that it might have just been old. Maybe it was from before we even met. I spent hours trying to figure out how to approach it. I even made a flowchart of how I'd handle different responses. Yeah, overkill, I know. I just wanted to keep the conversation calm and avoid jumping to conclusions. I finally brought it up when we were both home one evening. Paraphrasing here. Me, can we talk? I found something, and I need to ask you about it. Her, sure, what's going on? Me, I found an emergency contraceptive packet in the garbage a few nights ago. I don't know what to think, and I need you to help me understand. The second the words emergency contraceptive left my mouth, she immediately looked like she had been punched in the gut. She was completely lost for words. I already knew at that point. I retained eye contact and repeated my question. Me, I'm not accusing you of anything. I just want to know the truth. If there's a reasonable explanation, tell me. You know I had a vasectomy. She just mouth-breathed, looking at me horrified. Then she looked to the floor. Then she started weakly sobbing. I asked her, are you crying because you did something you regret? She shook her head violently. I was so concerned because I thought something horrendous might have happened. Then she said, I'm crying because my fucking husband doesn't even trust me. I have literally never seen a person that angry, let alone my wife. So I prompted her again. Just tell me why it was there. You don't have to hide anything from me. She yelled at me again. Repeatedly. If you don't trust me, this marriage is hopeless. Fuck you for not trusting me. This line of questioning repeated itself until she told me to get out of the house. I refused and said that until she was upfront with me about why the box was there, I wasn't budging an inch. She then informed me that either I had to leave or she would leave. Since I doubted she had anywhere to stay, her parents don't live anywhere near us, I agreed to go to let us cool down and have a rational conversation like adults later. I went to my best friend's house, the guy who was best man at my wedding, and we got drunk and talked about everything but her. Over the next few days, I tried texting her to have a calm conversation. She wouldn't respond at first. Then she texted me an ultimatum. She said, 1. You need to apologize for accusing me. 2. Promise to never bring this up again. And 3. Trust me completely, or else don't bother coming back. She just wanted me to sweep it under the rug. I couldn't do that. Now there is legitimately nothing my wife could say to salvage this marriage. It's over. I decided to talk to a lawyer. I haven't told my family what's going on yet because I'm not ready for all the questions, but I'm taking steps to protect myself. Whether she cheated or not, her reaction told me everything I needed to know. If she cared about our marriage, she would have had a real conversation with me. Instead, she gave me an ultimatum. Thanks to everyone who's followed along and supported me. Update 2. Just a quick update for everyone following this. I've officially filed for divorce. When I told my wife, it turned into another argument. She got emotional and started accusing me. Paraphrasing. Her, you've never trusted me. How could you do this to us? Me, this isn't about one thing. You gave me an ultimatum instead of being honest. I can't live like that. She cried and asked me to reconsider. Her, you're making the biggest mistake of your life. You'll regret this. I told her I was done. The divorce has been filed, and I'm not looking back. Also, I need to admit some of you in the comments were right, I shouldn't have left the house. My lawyer said the same thing. But honestly, I was sick to my stomach at the thought of stepping back in there. I've made peace with that mistake, though. I just want to move forward now.